Fade in. A dim kitchen. Nighttime. A flickering overhead light. The silence is thick. We hear shallow breathing. Her name was Maya Thomas, a mother, a waitress, a woman who had spent the last 18 months learning to survive in silence. The bruises weren't the worst part. The worst part was the quiet voice inside her, telling her that no one would believe her if she screamed. She lived in a small apartment in East Louis, where the walls were thin and neighbors heard things but never said a word. And on that night, the night her boyfriend slammed the bathroom door so hard it shattered the mirror, Maya finally picked up the phone. She didn't call her sister. She didn't call her boss. She called 911. 911. What is your emergency? Her voice shook. I think he is going to kill me. The screen goes black, then red and blue lights flashing. When the police arrived, they found Maya standing barefoot on the porch, clutching her son. Her lip was swollen. Her hands were trembling. She had locked the door from the inside to keep him out. Her boyfriend had already fled. The apartment was a mess. There was a broken chair, a knocked-over crib, a blood stain on the floor. The officers walked past her like she wasn't even there. They didn't ask where he went. They asked why she stayed. Was the child present during the incident? Do you have a restraining order? Has this happened before? She nodded. She said yes. She said she didn't know. And then something happened that Maya would never forget. An officer knelt beside her son and asked, "Has mommy ever hurt you?" The child shook his head, but the report was already written. We see a clipboard. A single line, failure to protect. At 2:37 am, Maya was placed under arrest. Not him, her. She wasn't handcuffed for attacking anyone. She wasn't intoxicated. She didn't even raise her voice, but the charge said, child endangerment. Why? Because she knowingly allowed her child to remain in a violent environment. No one asked how many times she tried to leave. No one asked about the shelters that turned her away. No one asked why a mother in fear might hesitate. Not out of weakness, but out of love. Her son screamed as they took her away. Mama, where are you going? A single toy drops to the floor. The screen cuts to black. Jail wasn't cold. It was hollow. They took her shoelaces, her earrings, her pride. She sat in the corner of a holding cell with 10 other women, most of them silent. One of them crying, one of them laughing to herself like the world had already ended. No one told her where her son was. No one told her how long she would be there. And when she asked the guard for a phone call, he said, "You'll get your turn. You Ray not special. I just wanted to protect him," she whispered. But there was no one left to listen. The Child Protective Services worker who picked up her son that night had never met Maya. She didn't know her story. Didn't know that Maya had spent nights sleeping in her car to keep her son warm. Didn't know that Maya skipped meals to feed him. All she saw was a form. One more mother. One more case. In that system, intent doesn't matter. Context doesn't matter. Love doesn't matter. Maya's crime wasn't violence. Her crime was poverty. Her crime was fear. Her crime was staying. 6 days later, Maya stood before a judge. No lawyer, no family, no voice. She was told the hearing would be informal. She was told it wasn't about guilt or innocence. She was told it was just a formality. But what the judge said was anything but casual. You failed to remove the child from a known danger. Temporary custody will remain with the state. You may file a petition for supervised visitation after 90 days. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there and died a little more on the inside. There are over 250 cases of parental rights termination every year in the U.S. Most of them are low income. Many are black or brown. Very few ever get reversed. But what the records never show are the nights that mother sat by the door, hoping to hear her child's voice. Or the birthdays missed. The first words never heard. The system doesn't return children with apologies. It returns them, sometimes, with trauma, and for Maya no one returned anything. It took Maya for months to be approved for a single, supervised visit. For months, 6 court filings, 2 denied motions, and the humbling of a lifetime. She had to attend parenting classes, domestic violence counseling, and submit to weekly drug tests, though no drugs were ever involved. And finally, on a gray afternoon in October, she was allowed to see her son. Once, for 1 hour, in a room with 2 mirrors and plastic chairs. She had grown taller. His curls were longer. He wore shoes she hadn't bought. When he saw her, he hesitated, then turned to the woman beside him and said, "Mama, who is that?" Maya smiled, because she couldn't cry, because the system didn't just take her son. It erased her from his memory. She left that building with a hollow heart and a pocket full of pamphlets, reunification goals, behavioral improvement expectations, compliance checklist, words they give to mothers like her, as if love needs paperwork, as if survival needs permission. She walked home, back to the same apartment, same kitchen, same broken mirror, but something in her was different. She wasn't afraid anymore. She was angry. Maya started speaking. To advocates, to reporters, to other mothers who whispered their stories behind closed doors. She learned the language of the system and began using it against itself. They told her it was impossible. They told her no one ever wins. But Maya didn't care anymore, because now she wasn't just fighting for her son. She was fighting for all the mothers who were punished for surviving. It has been 2 years. Maya still doesn't have full custody, but she sees her son twice a month. He calls her Mommy Maya now, and every time he runs to hug her she remembers the night she thought she'd lost him forever. She called for help, and the world turned against her, but she didn't disappear. She didn't give up, she turned her pain into power. There are thousands of Mayas, but most don't get a second chance. The system punishes survival. Let us change that.